today I'm going to be finishing laying out some of the track. I finally got some of the last pieces that I needed. Basically I'm just going to be laying out the track for this section here. And then once I get all the track laid out, I'm going to then outline around the track area. So essentially transferring my track plan to my foam top here. That's essentially what I'm trying to do. And then once I get that done, I have these Woodland Scenics. Basically it's their subterranean system that I'm going to be doing here. So I'm going to be using a series of these subterranean risers, incline starters, and incline sets to sort of change the elevation of the track, change the elevation of the entire layout. Once I get the track plan, I'll know exactly how I want to have this all laid out and so forth. I have some of this, I'm going to be using my track plan, which I developed in AnyRail. And I have some of this, these elevations figured out inside AnyRail, but not all of them. There's still a lot of things I'm going to kind of be working on the fly. So for this particular segment, I decided that I'm just going to go to town and start laying some track right now. And then once we get the track all laid, I'll basically get right back with you, and we'll go on to the next, which is outlining it out, and like I said, transferring the track plan to the peak foam. Alright, thanks. I'm going to get going on this. This here is that special Bachmann EZ Track. Basically, it's item number 44597. What's unique about this track is right underneath it, it has like this little power block that actually feeds the tracks up here. And I'm not sure if you could see, but you have a little, soldered up lead right there. And what you can do is with this track is you can actually open the screws here and flip these open. Now that's an isolated track. So basically here and this half of the track and this half of the track are now isolated. So if say you got this a part of a reverse loop, now you have this as isolated, and you can actually put in your finishing things for your reverse loop. If you have them closed and you have them screwed tight, down tight, kind of like how I got it right here, then it's, for the most part, it's no different than a standard piece of straight track powered straight through. But what's unique about this is now I can come in here and I can actually apply some solder. It doesn't matter to any one of these leads. Solder my feeders right to here, and it basically provides power to the track section, and I don't have to worry about trying to go through the roadbed. And you basically don't want to place those every so often within your layout. All the way up here, I have another track feeder, and then I place the other one down here. And then the only problem with Bachmann EZ Track as far as this goes is they don't sell a piece like this for your curves. I wish they did, but if they had something like that for curves, then you could do the same thing. You could just throw one inside your curve areas. I just want to make sure they're tight. All right, moving on. These are the DCC turnouts that I have. This is actually a number 5 right turnout. So I remember watching a video one time, and they said that the number 5 is basically the amount of ties in here. Basically, once you get past the frog, it's the amount of ties. So that's how. So it's 5 ties, number 5 turnout. So you get some pieces that come with it. You get a little extension piece here. You get that here right underneath it is all your DCC on board stuff. You know, which is cool. And the all-important instructions, which I will admit to this, I've reviewed these instructions myself, and one thing about Bachmann, they do not do a very good job of writing their instructions. You're better off following the instructions that you can find on YouTube. This also includes this little cover here. For right now, I'm just going to leave that with the box. When you're connecting sectional track, make sure that when you connect the 2 pieces, that once you get them both connected, you run your finger over it. Make sure you don't feel any raised points in the track. Otherwise, that means you don't have the couplers, the little metal couplers here lined up, and it's basically the one that's sitting on top of the other. If you leave it like that, you can cause derails. Kind of working in a somewhat fairly difficult section right here, so it's taking me a little longer. Basically, I have this is where my lumber logging camp is going to be, so it's got a lot of switching in it and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to make sure that I do my take my time with it. That's one thing about model railroading, is patience and time. So this is my first time using these Bachmann switches, so kind of learning a little bit as I go here. On my last, well, let's put it this way, I've used the Bachmann DCC Turnouts before. I have them on my other layout, but not the number 5. And the number 5, it's a little bit tighter here, so they give you this like little extension, you know, if you notice. And that's all fine and good, as you can see when I'm coming in here. But when I have another piece that's already here, you notice you get a little bit of a binding right there. Well, what they did is, what Bachmann did is right here you can see where it's got like a little bit of a trim off point, and I can kind of bend it up a little, and that's so you can actually trim that off depending on, you know, which direction you need to go in and so forth, and what, you know, you need to get it to make it fit. So in this case here, I'm trying to come in here, I need to trim off this piece right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, for right now, I'm just going to kind of bend this up a little bit, work it up a little, and just kind of work it back and forth. And then just like that, that piece snaps right off. And now this comes right in here. and not sure if you can see that very well, but nice and snug. Now I can come in with my next piece. Actually using more of these power terminal tracks than what I had anticipated that I would be using. Mainly because of all these the turnout sections and so forth. It's I want to make sure that there's adequate power in this area. So I may end up having to order some more of these because I only have a few more left, so we'll see. So here's a good, I guess, lesson learned here. Track plan versus real world. And remember, I kind of mentioned about that just because it worked great on the track planning software, how does it actually implement into the real world? I've actually never took an AnyRail track plan and pushed it out to an actual real world scenario. My other layouts, I just kind of did the track plan on a piece of paper. So it's kind of, so basically the way I have this set up is you can see I got a curve here, and then at the very end of this I have a Haze Bumper. Well, as you can tell by looking at this right now, there's no way I'm going to add a Haze Bumper in here at the end. Basically this track is coming right up and butting up to this track right here. Even if I come in here into the system and turn on the sleepers and so forth like that, I mean, it's basically too tight. It's tighter than what it looks like here. So this is something I need to, I need to kind of adjust on the fly a little bit. What I'll end up doing is I'm going to take out one of these 9-inch pieces of straight track, and I'll probably put in a smaller piece of track in its place. That of course means now if I need that smaller piece of track later, I'm now going to be short a piece. So either way, that's kind of what I had to do, is I had to kind of adjust this now a little bit on the fly. You do have some flexibility with Bachmann EZ Track as far as that goes, to be able to adjust it a little bit to make it work, but that's too much of an adjustment. In case you're wondering what a Haze Bumper is, that's what a Haze Bumper is. Basically, just a end of track bumper. I've seen people where you can put flashing lights, flashing LEDs on there, and I may do that at some point in time. I may come in through the roadbed here and put a small LED there. It's not that difficult. So now I'm putting in another special section. This here is it's basically a 60-degree crossing. So it's two tracks crossing one another, and the angle here is a 60-degree angle. No, it's this angle right here would be a 60-degree angle. This would be 40, of course. If they were completely across from there, that would be a 90-degree angle. So. Okay. So once again, this is more of a track plan software, not quite matching up with real life. At the end of that, on this side of the bumper, on this side of that crossing, I'm supposed to be putting a Haze Bumper. And a Haze Bumper is not going to fit here. So it looks like basically up here further along where I have these two straight pieces right here, I'm actually going to have to shrink one of them to kind of make it fit. Like I said, a little disappointed with AnyRail. It's a little bit, so just so you know, it's don't make your tolerances too tight with it, because it appears that it's not 100% dead to rights accurate. So on Bachmann's EZ Track here, they, not sure if you can read that and how well you can read that, but basically in the tight corner radiuses, because I don't really know what track you're getting there, you have to nip off the one corner there to get it to fit properly, and that's just the one corner of the roadbed. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a try. So basically I need to nip off this little corner right here. I'm just using a pair of wire cutters. And try and do this as there we go. See how that looks. Yeah, perfect. That wasn't too painful. One thing I've learned about with model railroading is sometimes you have to adapt and innovate a little bit. So, alrighty. Getting towards the end of this little area here, and I'll start working my way back up and around. Good news is the layout simplifies quite a bit after you get past this. So I hate to continue to beat up on AnyRail here a bit, but once again I'm seeing some inconsistency with the way the track is laid and how it actually is coming out here. Maybe I'm messing up here. I'm not sure, but that track is supposed to be coming in here. Not 100% sure what I did wrong, or if this is AnyRail or not. I actually think I figured out my mistake. This here piece here is supposed to be on the inside. Bring the camera around here a little bit. This here is supposed to be here, and this, so that actually changes the angle. I'm not sure if you can see much on the screen, but this piece of track here that I'm actually working on is supposed to be more perpendicular with the table. So I actually messed up a little, so I gotta fix some things. Just like before, I have to nip off the corner here. So this track right here. works a lot better. Quarter nip. Doing another corner nip. Okay. Got a little bit too much there. That's okay. Should work fine. So we're moving on to the next section. So, as you can see, there's where we're at right now with the track laying here. I'm going to continue on, but basically running out of battery here of my camera, so not going to be able to film all of the track laying like I had initially intended. But you kind of get a gist of how it is with laying EZ Track. It's not too overly difficult or anything like that. So once again, like I said, I'm going to continue on with getting this all laid in, and then we'll return back with this video and I'll show you how the track is after it's all laid in, and then we'll go in about outlining it, and once we get it all done outlined, we'll be taking it all off. So I'll be continue working on this, and next time basically we'll kick back in and we'll show you how it is when it looks like it's all done. Well, that's pretty much it. That's all the track that's laid in this section. So we pretty much have, you know, up to the point where it would actually get into the next section, so that's where the other crossover is going to be. So now that I have all the track laid, it's pretty much outlining it. What I'm going to be using to outline everything is basically I bought these at the local craft stores. Just they're just charcoal sticks basically. So it's like a charcoal, so it lasts a long time. But it marks really good on this foam. Doesn't like dig into the foam or anything like that. They also sell like foam markers or whatever you could use. I just using these because I had them laying around, so it kind of worked. So now I'm basically just going to make sure that everything is laying where I want it to be, and then I'm just going to go over everything with a charcoal piece. Just do a quick verification walk around, make sure everything looks good, and then we'll be moving on to the next step. So I'm just going to take a quick tape measure and check along my edge line here, making sure that the track is somewhat, you know, following along the edge lines and so forth. Like I said, this doesn't have to be perfectly accurate or anything like that, because let's face it, the world's not perfectly accurate or anything like that. I mean, tracks don't perfectly run straight, and I mean, for the most part, I mean, they run to the contour of the land. So so basically I'm just trying to get it to where you know, try to keep it sort of evenly off the edge and so forth. Okay, that looks like that's where she's gonna be. Now I'm just gonna go along and just mark everything along with a charcoal pencil. Doesn't take much with the charcoal pencil, it's just a light, just sort of grazing the top. What's actually really nice about charcoal pencils. One other thing I did mark on various spots on my layout here was where the power drop's going to be. So that way I know where that is all going to be at. And there we go. So the track's been all laid out. Track plan has now been transferred on to the pink foam. So I am pretty much ready to disassemble the track, and for the most part the track won't be back on the layout for actually a while now, because you know, I'll be working on a lot of the scenery material. So that pretty much that's it for this video here, and so move on to the next video. The next video we'll probably be getting into some of the risers and stuff that I have. Which are these guys right here. So these are Scenic Express risers. It's part of their subterranean system. So this happens to be a 2-inch riser, and I'm going to be using these to elevate the layout and change the level and give it some sort of terrain to it and all that. So we'll see how that all works out. So bye.